Good evening. Namaste to all the viewers and participants of the session today. My name is Madhuri Mishra. I am a student at the Yogaguru Institute and pursuing MA in Yoga and also doing a 200 hours teacher training course. Welcome to this session being conducted by the Yoga Research Study Circle, which is a part of the Women Health Research Foundation, also called as WHRF. WHRF is a trust established in 2017 under the guidance of our president, Dr. Neha Vashisht, and our founder and patron, Dr. Mohan Karki. This trust is committed towards empowering women in every sphere of life and providing them the tools required to lead a fulfilling and healthy life. We work primarily in the field of academics and promote health, social, and cultural welfare amongst women. Yoga Research Study Circle is one such team that helps yoga professionals publish their research and get their work recognized. As an initiative of this group, we invite achievers from different fields every Sunday to share their experiences and inspire others. Today, we have Tatini Basu, who is an advocate and has about 20 years of experience in the legal field. She has been practicing in the Supreme Court of India from 2003 and is an advocate on record since 2011. She has completed her law degree from Nalsar, Hyderabad in 2003. She is a standing counsel and legal advisor to various government agencies. During her career span, she has handled many high-profile cases and cases that have had a greater social impact. The topic that she will talk about today is harassment at the workplace and women. As we know, harassment is any kind of unwelcome conduct that is based on race, culture, color, religion, sex, gender, disability, and so on. She will tell us how to identify it, what are our rights, and how to protect ourselves from being harassed. Over to you, Tatini. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Madhuri. It's a pleasure to be a part of this today. And so coming to sexual harassment at workplace, the only thing that comes to mind is what can come under sexual harassment, or what is sexual harassment है क्या, किस चीज को हम accept करें, किस चीज को हम छोड़ दें, किस चीज को हम sexual harassment माने. So now the government is working with all the state government, central government has come up with a legislation which is the sexual harassment of women at workplace in the year 2013. But I would like to give a small background about this legislation. What was the need for coming up with this legislation? Don't we really respect our women, or don't our women require protection? I mean, do they require protection? Why do they need a legislation for that? So now, this case was filed in the year 1997 when judgment came, which was filed by the Vishakha NGO from Rajasthan. This emanated from an incident of a lady who was gang raped in Rajasthan for doing her work. She was a social worker. She was helping the government with now, since it was Rajasthan, we are all aware, way back in 1985, she started working with the Women's Welfare, Women's Development Program in Rajasthan. And she was helping, going door to door, teaching people how to educate their women, how to send their children to school, she was obviously advocating against child marriage and all the social evils which were being faced at that point of time. And there is a certain section of our society जो आज भी इस problem से जूझ रही है. So now the need came when she actually opposed, and she was strongly opposing the marriage of a 9-month-old girl. So 9-month-old girl who was to be married off, and she was opposing that because she was doing her job. She was just asked to do it. And in that process, since she belonged to a class which was lower caste, and the marriage which she was opposing, that family was from a higher caste. And it was a backlash. She did fear that this may happen, that there will be a backlash. And she was gang raped in front of her husband in the fields much later. And that girl, that 9-month-old girl, she stopped the marriage, but the very next day that girl was married off. And after her gang rape, there were many NGOs which took up her issue. And finally, case was filed in Supreme Court, and then Supreme Court had to come down and frame certain rules with the Vishakha judgment. It's a judgment available on the web and on Google, so everybody can read through it. This is where Supreme Court laid down the guidelines for protecting women at workplace, protecting women against sexual harassment at workplace. Because it became, why has sexual harassment become important, protection of women at sexual harassment? Because with education, with employment, women are now sharing equal space with men in society at workplaces. And because of that, women are facing a lot of problems. There are many problems which women face. One is family responsibilities and work going hand in hand, managing a lot of other things, expectations, time management, a lot of other problems. And in addition to that, she faces sexual harassment at workplace, which is the worst kind of harassment. It is basically an extension of a violence in a day-to-day life. So, workplace harassment, where does it emanate from? ये कहाँ से आता है? ये because of our patriarchal society, patriarchal mindset, जो बस गया है दिमाग में कि आदमी, man is superior to women. Men know better than women. Men perform better than women. यहाँ से एक social discrimination create हो गया है दोनों, एक man and women में, men and women में. So then in that process, what has happened that it has become like a daily thing. There are passing comments against women, passing sexual remarks against women, or incompetency just because she is a woman. These things have become very common and we tend to ignore it. हम इसे ignore कर देते हैं, अच्छा कोई बात नहीं, हम देख लेंगे, हम कर लेंगे. So that need came to deal with this problem by framing of this legislation. Since this legislation, drafting of this legislation would take time, Supreme Court came out with detailed guidelines in the Vishakha judgment, and every state, every organization, organized sector, unorganized sectors, submit, they were told to implement the directions. There are committees which were formed and the state was supervising each and every step कि इस चीज को, इस directions को कैसे implement किया जाए. After the act came into existence, obviously things became much easier. There is a proper definitions put in place कि आप किस चीज को harassment कह सकते हैं, who is, and जो woman, aggrieved woman है, वो कौन है? Not everybody is aggrieved. So aggrieved woman के definition, now that definitions and all you will find in the legislation, in the act. But what is sexual harassment? जो section में कहते हैं, sexual harassment includes, I'll just take your permission to read this for you. It is important क्योंकि हमें पता ही नहीं है क्या क्या sexual harassment होता है. So sexual harassment includes any of these following, that is physical contact or advances, demand or request for sexual favors, showing pornography, making sexually colored remarks, or any other unwelcome physical, verbal, non-verbal conduct of a sexual nature. This is the broad definition of sexual harassment. What can be defined as sexual harassment for women? So, coming to this, I think we showing pornography or showing messages, calling each other baby, darling, these things have become very common with our male colleagues. But if somebody doesn't take it in the right sense, she can use it as sexually harassing comment, or showing pornographic clips or clips which may be funny, but it has a sexual tone to it. That is not acceptable. These things are not at all acceptable in society, and we have to be careful. We have to be aware of these things. If somebody is showing these things, then you should object to it or take steps. Every organization that we work under, every company, private, government, whatever, they have their internal committee which is set up. If you have any such complaint against any colleague, it can be your boss also, it can be your senior also, it can be your employer also. So if you have any such complaint, you have to approach. You have to make a complaint, you have to take a step towards making, you need to be the first one to take the step and stop this, so that it is not repeated with somebody else. There are many cases where we see that the woman is scared to come out. कोई सामने ही नहीं आना चाहता है क्योंकि सोशल बैकलैश है, काम का डर है, नौकरी चला जाएगा, लोग क्या सोचेंगे, बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो हमारे दिमाग में काम करता है, हम चीजों को इग्नोर करते चले जाते हैं. बट ये इग्नोर करने के in the process of ignoring these things, what we don't realize is we are just giving our society the license to misbehave, which should not be the case. And then इन चीजों को हम कैसे stop कर सकते हैं? We really can't stop anybody, but we can only make it a better society by either taking it on ourselves to, if something like that happens to us, we should take an informed decision. It is a decision you need to take. It is a fight. You need to fight yourself. आप ये किसी और पे नहीं छोड़ सकते हो. वो मुझे छेड़ रहा है, आप कुछ कर दो. कोई और कुछ नहीं कर सकता है आपके लिए जब तक आप खुद अपने आप को कन्विंस नहीं करोगे कि मुझे कुछ करना है, मुझे कुछ करना चाहिए. कोई डर्टी मैसेजेस, कोई डर्टी कमेंट्स, कोई पासिंग कमेंट्स आल्सो, इट इज नॉट प्रॉपर. जैसे ईव टीजिंग को हम नॉर्मल नहीं मानते हमें, पर हम इग्नोर करते हैं. रास्ते में चलते चलते कोई छेड़ दे, गली के लड़के छेड़ देते हैं तो हम उसे आंख नीचे करके चले जाते हैं. सो दैट इज नॉट नॉर्मल. टुडे if we take a step further, we have to go to the police. लोगों को यही डर रहता है, अरे कौन जाएगा पुलिस स्टेशन, कौन करेगा इतना झमेला, कौन उठाएगा. That is the only problem we have, that we don't want to take that step further, either for our own convenience or the fear of society. हमें ये avoid करना चाहिए. हमें we should be more informed as citizens, we should be more responsible as citizens, because हम चाहते हैं giving a safe environment at work. It is our fundamental right. It is guaranteed under the Constitution. And if we don't if we don't know how to get our rights, then nobody can really help us. कोई भी law, कोई भी रेमेडी आपको नहीं मिल सकता है जब तक आप खुद नहीं आएंगे, सामने नहीं आएंगे अपने प्रॉब्लम को लेकर. So that is why I always advise people that आप बैठे बैठे मत सोचिए कि मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, मैं काम नहीं कर पा रही हूँ. इट बिकम्स अ हॉस्टाइल एनवायरनमेंट. आप सोचिए, आप काम पे जाते हैं, आपको रोज छेड़ा जाता है कि आप इनकॉम्पिटेंट है बिकॉज यू आर अ वुमन. यू आर इनकॉम्पिटेंट बिकॉज यू गो बैक फ्रॉम वर्क अर्ली, क्योंकि आपको बच्चे संभालने हैं, क्योंकि आपको घर संभालना है, तो आप टाइम नहीं दे पाते हैं. So these are challenges women keep facing on a day-to-day life. Yes, we do, all of us face these problems. That we have our commitments also. Society में कुछ commitments है जो औरतों को करना पड़ता है. But वो सब करके भी हम काम करते हैं. हम काम पे रोज सुबह तैयार होके जाते हैं. So we also want a healthy atmosphere, a healthy work environment, जो हमें सरकार गारंटी देती है. But that guarantee is only for people who can come forward with it. Yes, this it is very interesting to know that this act came up with the background behind this act. I think we have already discussed that this came up with due to the reason that a woman was gang raped while doing her work. So that was only to stop her from performing her job. She hasn't stopped till today. She's still working. She is a fighter. She's not even a fighter. She's a legend, living legend. Because she, even after so much that has happened, has changed her life, she hasn't stopped doing her duties. So that is how women should be. Women should fight for their rights. We should all fight for our rights. हमें नौकरी चली जाती है तो हम फाइट करते हैं. But why don't we fight when our rights, like basic rights, it is our basic fundamental right to a safe environment. Why can't we fight for that? हम क्यों वेट करते हैं उस दिन का जब चीजें हमारे हाथ के बाहर हो जाता है, हद से बाहर हो जाता है, or things go beyond. If you keep allowing or permitting somebody to make advances towards you and keep ignoring, that man may take the next step towards ruining your life. Now coming to the impact on a woman. It does have a psychological impact on us. It does have a mental and physical impact on us. Because हम इन चीजों को एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर पाते हैं, ना इसको बाहर निकाल पाते हैं, ना किसी से डिस्कस कर पाते हैं, because sometimes family is not cooperative and it is always, in most of the cases, women are being blamed कि तुम ढंग के कपड़े पहन लो, तुम किसी से बात मत करो, तुम किसी से नजर उठा के मत देखो, क्या जरूरत है रात तक काम करने की, क्या जरूरत है आदमियों के साथ बाहर जाने की. That is not the answer. The answer lies in मैं क्यों नहीं जा सकती हूँ, मैं क्यों नहीं मतलब अपने पसंद के कपड़े पहन सकती हूँ, मैं क्यों नहीं किसी से बात कर सकती हूँ. Why can't I be a part of a meeting which is going on till night 10 o'clock and still feel safe? That is the question we should ask ourselves. Then what are we doing to do that, to achieve that? Just by going there on our own and doing our job and then feeling unsafe is not the answer. The answer lies in, if anything happens, we have to be protective of ourselves. Don't we tell even the boys, we tell them, please be safe, go safely, come home safely. Likewise, women also should act more responsibly. Think before you act, think before you do something, and then take a decision. Don't take rash and quick decisions just in the spur of the moment. Think it through. If you are unable to come out, take help. You can take legal help, obviously. Lawyers are always there for you. Or you can always take help from some family, some friend, some colleague who may take that initial step for you, or who may help you to, help to push you forward. that's mostly sexual harassment. We also need to understand कि हमारे society में ये चीज क्यों इतना rampant है. It is because of our patriarchal mindset, because of the society, how it has taken so many years for us to realize and give that due respect or equality or gender equality to women and majorly at workplace. So this is now that women also include not just women who go to office or who go to work. There are women who are working as helping us out at home also. They are also eligible. They can also make complaints. Our women who come at home, do our daily chores for us and help us to attend our jobs, they are also covered under this legislation. This is such a beautiful legislation that everybody should take help from it. Every woman should know what this act talks about, how it is going to help us, how are we supposed to deal with a problem if it comes to us. There is a laid down procedure. It may take time, but आप एक इंसिडेंट हुआ, आप सालों साल बैठ के फिर 3 साल बाद इसको कंप्लेंट कर रहे हैं, that is not acceptable. You are given a time limit. 3 months time है under the act, but that can be given an extension. अगर if you are justified in not coming up, maybe you went under a shock, maybe you were not able to come out with that, or fear, or the society fear, or you took some time to get convinced to come out with the problem. So that is something depends on the committee that is there. अगर आपके company does not have this internal committee, then the local committee is there. Now recently हम ये केस अभी सुन रहे हैं जो न्यूज में भी है, the Wrestling Federation of India. The Wrestling Federation of India, it was shocking that they don't have an internal committee for sexual harassment cases. And then the sportsmen are facing it on a day-to-day basis. It is, ये वहीं पे होता है जहां पावर है, जहां पोजीशन है, where your position is threatened, your job is threatened. कोई भी आपसे superior हो, वो आपको threat कर सकता है. Or women feel threatened always. I would say that yes, we feel threatened at every stage. क्योंकि हमें कोई चपरासी भी कुछ बोल दे मुंह पे तो हमें डर लगता है कुछ करना है. तो क्यों झमेला लेना, क्यों इससे मुंह लड़ाना. तो वो that fear of, we should not live in that fear, but that doesn't mean we should be, we should take it too lightly. There have been incidents where Aruna Shanbhog case, all of us must have read somewhere in the newspaper how that woman suffered all her life. So these are things we cannot ignore in our day-to-day life, and we need to be more proactive in our approach being women, because women are exposed today to a society which is male dominated. Yes, let's accept it. We have broken the glass ceiling, but still it is not so smooth for women. We are still struggling. We are still trying for a gender equality where women are accepted in every profession, in any profession. We have such amazing doctors, we have such amazing people in the corporate world, we have such amazing lawyers who are women, but they have their own challenges. They have faced their challenges and they have surpassed all that and come so far. So if you want to reach far, you have to take it up on yourself. You cannot be thinking that somebody else will do it for me and I can't help it. I will not take this step. So this is a vast subject otherwise. Baki, I would want Madhuriji, if somebody wants to put some questions to me, because I wanted to give a basic background as to what this act talks about and how women should go about it. But then it should be more coming from people because they need to understand what is troubling them.
Yeah. So once again, thanks for guiding us and explaining all the situations that one can be and how to identify. This law is basically, as you explained, is more about how the women can benefit. तो अब हम जैसे जेंडर इक्वालिटी की बात करते हैं, तो देयर इज, आई मीन, लार्ज वर्कफोर्स वेयर men go out and work, and they work with lady bosses, and they have female colleagues. So एक क्वेश्चन आया है हमारे व्यूअर के पास से, जो कि ऐसी सिचुएशन में है, एक हैरेसमेंट टाइप की सिचुएशन में है अपने वर्क प्लेस पे, और मतलब एक लेडी बॉस से एक डिफिकल्ट होस्टाइल एनवायरनमेंट में वर्क कर रहे हैं. तो बेसिकली फॉर सच मेन और मेन इन जनरल, आई मीन, उनके लिए क्या बेनिफिट्स हैं, और ये पर्टिकुलर व्यक्ति अपने वर्क प्लेस में क्या स्टेप्स ले सकते हैं इस सिचुएशन से ओवरकम करने के लिए. लाइक व्हाट इज इट इन फॉर मेन दैट दिस लॉ हेल्प्स विद?
Adriji, this law, I would say, I'm sorry to say, but this law is only for women. There is no such act. There is still talks going on that men also need to be protected. There are men who are facing a lot of sexual harassment at workplace, with women being at a controlling position where their job is threatened. Either they are promised कि आपको promotion मिल जाएगी against some sexual favors, या तो आप नहीं देंगे तो आपको demote कर देंगे, या तो आपको it really affects them. आपके जॉब को थ्रेट करते हैं, आपकी डेजिग्नेशन को थ्रेट करते हैं, आपकी वेरी एग्जिस्टेंस को थ्रेट करते हैं. मेन ऑल्सो फेस इट. मे बी नॉट नंबर वाइज इट इज नॉट सो मच, but yes, it is there in a lot of industries. I wouldn't name any particular industry as such, but it is there. So in such cases, since there is no specific law, this is a specific law only made for women. For men, it is the Indian Penal Code that one has to go against for making sexual advances against or taking advantage of a controlling position, and use your rules, the service rules. जिस कंपनी में आप काम करते हैं या जिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ आप जुड़े हुए हैं, उनके अपने रूल्स होंगे to treat such behavior as misconduct, and then take it forward with the normal course of investigation through the police. The men have, right now, the men have to go through the normal course under IPC. That is their only remedy, not under this act. Under this act, yes, one specification, there are many cases, ऐसे बहुत cases आते हैं जहाँ पे false allegations किया जाता है. क्योंकि women, some women with that hope of growing faster, they do make advances. I would like to warn the men, please be careful. Please be careful while you speak to your women colleagues. Please be careful while celebrating their birthdays in office. Don't take too many liberties. आज वो अच्छे हैं, आज वो रिश्ते अच्छे हैं, कल शायद ना हो. That may be misused against you. You may be thinking, I never intended that way. बट वो चीज आपके खिलाफ ही जाएगा अगर आप ऐसा कुछ करते हैं. हम भी ऐसे केसेस डील कर चुके हैं जहाँ पे वो मतलब एक लड़की की प्रमोशन हो जाती है. So she thanks her boss saying, I love you, sir. Thank you for this. बाद में रिश्ते खराब, but he also responds, love you darling. So it was more of an affectionate I love you exchanged. But few years later, things didn't turn out so pally between both of them. And she just filed those entire chats, but not his chat. Why she said I love you. She just filed what he said. So that was used against him. And it used for sexual harassment, smudging cake on each other's face. This is not, please be careful. Men should be careful. When a woman colleague is there, please ensure that somebody else is, try not to be alone with them ek kamre mein. When somebody comes in with a complaint, please ensure that few other people are there so that you keep your environment safe. The woman should also feel safe, and likewise the men should also be safe.
So in case basically the first step that he can take is to probably read the service rules and the contract that they have, और अपने पहले HR या basically अपने ऑफिस में अप्रोच करें और इस सिचुएशन को रिजॉल्व करने की कोशिश करें. If it doesn't get done there, then he can obviously go to the court and through police complaint and all of that, and then take that action, course of action.
For women, माधुरी जी, औरतों के लिए तो ये है कि आपका अगर कोई भी ऐसे कोई कंप्लेंट है और या मल्टीपल कंप्लेंट्स है एक पर्सन के खिलाफ, तो आप वो कंप्लेंट दे सकते हैं. देयर विल बी एन इंटरनल कमिटी व्हिच विल बी फॉर्म्ड. इट इज देयर इन एग्जिस्टेंस. दे विल फॉर्म विद द सीनियर मोस्ट लेडी मेंबर. उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, अगर उनके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में कोई सीनियर मोस्ट नहीं है, तो उनके सिस्टर कंसर्न से वो लाके एक कमिटी फॉर्म करेंगे जिसमें ज्यादातर लेडीज होंगे, और वो कमिटी फॉर्म करके देन योर कंप्लेंट विल बी लुक्ड इनटू एंड देन डेल्ट विद. फिर दी रेस्पोंडेंट जिसके खिलाफ आप एलिगेशन कर रहे हैं, उनको भी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी कि वो कैसे प्रूव करे. मैंने हाउ विल यू डिसप्रूव दीज एलिगेशंस. So it is a proper procedure laid down under the law, jahan both parties get opportunity to defend and to put their case forward, and then a decision is taken. After that, agar aap khush nahi hain, there is an appeal provision. Aap appeal mein bhi ja sakte hain, to kisi ka naukri bhi ja sakta hai. For making false allegations jahan pe hota hai, to wahan pe the man gets an opportunity to defend himself. That is also necessary, because there are many cases where false allegations are made against people only to take advantage of their situation.
और मैम एक सवाल जो था, जैसे हम पूरे इस डिस्कोर्स में, आई मीन वी हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट ओनली, बट जैसे हैरेसमेंट इज ऑफ सो मेनी टाइप्स, यू नो, जैसे माइक्रो अग्रेशन भी एक टाइप का हैरेसमेंट ही है. It may not always be sexual in nature. It can be somebody who is talking you down, or you know, somebody who is you know, giving other colleagues a better advantage over you, and or picking you on every small, you know, mistake or every small thing. So does this also get covered in this law, or is it only sexual harassment? Okay.
No, it should have a sexual flavor to it, rather.
But if that is not the case, then I mean, it is still somebody who is creating a difficult environment for you, so that you cannot work.
Creating a hostile environment, जो मैंने आप लोगों को बताया कि hostile environment create कर रहे हैं. मैं काम पे जा रही हूँ, पर ना मुझे काम मिल रहा है, ना मुझे काम assign हो रहे हैं, या तो मुझे ऐसा काम दिया जा रहा है जिससे मैं आई एम अनेबल टू परफॉर्म बेटर. जैसे अगर मुझे मतलब किसी ऑफिस में मेरा कुछ टेबल जॉब होगा, पर मुझे वो फाइलें उठाने का काम दे देते हैं या फाइलें ढूंढने का काम दे देते हैं. कुछ काम ऐसे दे देते हैं जो मेरे जॉब प्रोफाइल में है ही नहीं, या तो गिव मी अ रिकॉर्ड रूम का काम जहाँ पे मुझे सारा दिन कुछ काम ही नहीं मिलता है. It's basically putting me on the back burner. So in this process, they are demoralizing me, demoralizing the woman and forcing her to quit. You know, taking her, pushing her to that maximum limit where she gives up finally. So वो नहीं होना चाहिए. That is where we need to understand very carefully कि क्या है, ये क्यों हो रहा है. This is sexually discriminatory है कि नहीं. मेरे मेल काउंटर पार्ट्स को वही अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिल रही हैं जो मुझे मिलने. एटलीस्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलना मेरा राइट नहीं है, बट गिव मी अ चांस टू पार्टिसिपेट. Participation, to allow me to participate, is my right. I may perform well, I may not perform well. That is not my right to get the job. But getting an opportunity is my right. I should be given that opportunity. ये चीज.
एंड एक और लास्ट क्वेश्चन है जो कि जैसे देयर आर लाइक वुमेन हु लाइक सेन एंड यू नो दे नो देयर राइट्स एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी मे बी गोइंग थ्रू दिस हॉस्टाइल सिचुएशन, they have developed some mental issues or like physically disabled, or then they face harassment of any nature. So wo sometimes, you know, like many women don't approach in the first go itself. तो वो इस चीज को resolve करने के लिए क्या steps ले सकती हैं, and like what is it that they can do to file a complaint if they have a mental harassment or developed a mental situation like that, or physical disability of that nature. So
there have been cases, sadly, where in such cases many women have committed suicide. So they are no more to, you know, take forward the cause. Or there are women who have suffered mental trauma to an extent that they are not in a position to even come back to work. So in such situations, the act only provides कि आपके रिलेटिव, आपके फ्रेंड, आपके कोलीग, आपके हस्बैंड, आपका बेटा, anybody related to you, anybody you can rely upon, they can also take forward your cause. They can also file a complaint on your behalf.
Okay, so basically आपका कहना ये है कि ऐसे सिचुएशन में विमेन जो हैं वो सबसे पहले अपना जो सबसे क्लोजेस्ट एलाई है और जो अपना सपोर्ट सिस्टम है उसको अप्रोच करें, वहां से हेल्प लें, एंड देन टेक इट फॉरवर्ड टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल्स दैट इट हैज टू गो टू.
See, each one of us, हमें कुछ सपोर्ट तो चाहिए होता है. In a more delicate situation like this, when हमें जब, you know, we are not feeling very comfortable at our workplace, we look for a friend to whom we can talk to. It can be our husband, it can be a friend at work, it can be your mother, anybody, but some support system who will give you that confidence, who will give you that push to take it forward. There are people in our families, in our friends, who will say, छोड़ दे, यहीं पे छोड़ दे, नहीं बात कर, मत कर, नौकरी चला जाएगा, काम का नाम खराब होगा. So these are the fears which are instilled in us. Our society only teaches us not to come forward. तो हमें ये है कि ये जो सोसाइटी का प्रेशर है ना, this is somewhere we need to fight ourselves. This nobody can teach you, nobody can get you out of it, unless and until you yourself come out of it, or you have a wonderful friend who can actually fight for it.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is that जो courage है वो हमारे अंदर से ही आनी चाहिए. And that is the first step that we have to take towards resolving any such, be it a man or a woman. I think सबके लिए courage सबसे important है as a first step to take.
First step. That is when law can help you, Madhuri ji. Nobody can help you. हम कहते हैं laws है, कहाँ implement हो रहा है, कौन आ रहा है हमें बचाने. आप खुद जाओगे, अपना step लेंगे, तभी तो कोई आपको बचाएगा. किसको पता आपके साथ क्या हुआ? आप किसी को बताएंगे, किसी वकील को कंसल्ट कीजिए. आपको लगता है फैमिली में कोई नहीं है, कंसल्ट अ लॉयर, कंसल्ट somebody who is in a position. क्योंकि violence, देखिए, this harassment women face, and it's a different subject altogether. There are women who face domestic violence. There are women who face at workplace. So today, since we are talking about only workplace, because with education, with advancement in society, this has become a rampant problem in our society. पहले ये प्रॉब्लम उतना होता नहीं था क्योंकि उतनी औरतें काम पे नहीं जाते थे. Today, every household has a one woman going to work. So that's why it is important कि आप खुद इस चीज को अपने आप को समझाए. Find a friend. If you don't feel confident, please find a friend. And if you don't find a friend, please find a lawyer for yourself.
Okay.
लोगों का परसेप्शन अबाउट लॉयर के पास जाना या डॉक्टर के पास जाना, ऐसे दिन ना आए. वो होता है कि हमें वकील के पास क्या जाना, पुलिस स्टेशन क्या जाना. बट इफ यू आर क्लोजिंग द डोर्स फॉर योरसेल्फ, कौन बचाएगा? आप अगर किसी के पास नहीं जाएंगे तो आपको कौन बचा सकता है? कौन बताएगा आपको क्या हुआ है, आपका प्रॉब्लम क्या है? वो आपके अलावा और कौन जानता है? So that is something I want to put a message across to most people. That is the main problem I face with my clients also. Normal matters में तो हो जाता है कि किसी का अपना सर्विस इशू हो, कुछ हो. But these are issues which are sensitive. जैसे domestic issues होते हैं, workplace issues होते हैं, कोई नहीं डिस्कस करना चाहता. Women especially, they don't want to come out with these complaints. But nobody can help you till you come out.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we are out of time now, and I would just like to extend my, gratitude and thank you so much for joining us. And it was a very, very inspiring and motivating session, and I hope all the viewers who are watching this benefit from it. And no matter how afraid you are, please speak up, please find an ally, please find your support system and get out of whatever difficult situation you are in at your workplace, whether it is with a man or a woman. I hope all of the viewers